Hello, back to Hannity. We continue with the architect Carl. All right, so you pretty much laid out your plan, and you're saying this is, you agree with me that Obamacare is one of the worst things that's happened in our history. It was sold on predicated on a whole bunch of lies that we now know are false. And there's been 35 symbolic votes to repeal Obamacare, which I'm appreciative of. But this effort to defund, and Senator Cruz will join us, and Mike Lee and Mark Owen. I want to just argue my point to you and tell me where I'm wrong. If Ronald Reagan once said that the Republicans need to have bold colored differences. If they're not willing to stand against what you're saying is the worst thing to happen to the country with Obamacare in recent years, and what do they stand for? I mean, in other words, symbolic votes are fine, repeal votes are fine, but if they're meaningless and have no teeth, and they're willing to fund the rest of the government, why not do the first one?
Well, first of all, you're right about symbolism. You want to have things that get done. Now, I don't view the votes in the House for repeal of Obamacare as symbolic. I just don't. I think that was
But it's not repealed.
Position. Well, I agree, but that means the Senate didn't take it up. And again, what guarantee we have that the United States Senate with 55 Democrats is going to take up and pass a bill to defund the Obamacare. The second thing is I don't see the game plan. It hasn't been explained how we get to 51 votes in the Senate to accept this. There's been no game plan described. Third, there's been no game plan described of what happens when the pressure begins to mount, when our troops are not getting their paychecks, and when
let me address
everyone else in the government.
Because Mike Lee has addressed that, at least in my interview with him, as has Ted Cruz, and I'll ask him specifically, because I think it was Mike Lee that said they only need 41 votes, but I'll ask them.
Well, 41 votes is, the 41 votes is to keep the government from being funded. You can't pass a bill, right, to fund the government if you've got 41 Republican senators saying we're not funding for it.
But what he did say is they will fund everything else. They will fund our debt and obligations. They will fund Social Security. They will fund the government in every capacity.
Well, first of all, Sean, the debt is funded. We're talking about discretionary spending, right? All the mandatory is funded. So how do you get the Democrats to agree that they're going to give you a bill that funds the discretionary of the government? They won't. So but we always get blamed in that instance. Look, look. I want to attack Obamacare every way I can, but this is the difference between Pickett's charge and Grant taking Vicksburg. Grant kept attacking Vicksburg from the north. He couldn't take it, so he went around to the west and the south, came back across the Mississippi River, raged all the way over to Jackson, and came at it from the east and took Vicksburg. Pickett said, I'm going straight for the strong hard point. I'm going to go, and we're going to go to Lee said, I'm going to Pickett to lead that charge straight up on the ridge. And what happened? They got slaughtered. I want us to win each battle we have, because if we get in this battle and we lose it, and that is to say, we get in a position where they say, okay, fine, you're responsible for closing down the government. And we get blamed, but the public mind is going to take a lot of question ourselves.
If they fund every other aspect of the government and they appropriate all the other money, if they appropriate all the other money, then the question then becomes the president then has the choice, and the Democrats have the choice.
That's fine. We saw how that drama played in 1995. We funded the entire defense establishment for the entire year.
So it's not worth it. It's not worth. In other words, as bad as it is, and it's one of the worst things to happen in our lifetime, it's not worth whatever political calculations or fallout that might result from that. Is that what you're saying?
I want us to have I want the calculations to be made that we've got a better chance of winning and moving along. I want us to. I don't know where it's
They've done that up to this point, but they haven't done it. The point is, all these past votes have been symbolic because they haven't gone anywhere. And now it's not moving.
Sean, if we take this vote and the Democrats don't go along with it, this makes it symbolic. And would you have said it was a bad thing to have tried?
I would say that, look, we were the underdogs during the Revolutionary War. We're going to use war analogies, and I think probably through the prism of history, those people that looked at those revolutionaries thought they were nuts, and there was no chance they'd win. And King George,
But you know what? They had a winning strategy to win. Washington was thoughtful about this right from the beginning, and he knew what he needed to do, and it worked. Now that's a look. I want to say one final thing. I know we disagree about tactics, but I don't think it's helpful as a movement for conservatives to say, unless you agree with me on a bill that I haven't fully explained, I haven't put in writing, and I haven't described the end game. If you're not for it, you're my enemy. We're all on this together as conservatives. I win, and we.
you know what I fear? Go ahead. I don't want to frustrate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to be clear about this. This is a tactical disagreement, and I've seen some language recently by people saying, "Oh well, if you don't agree with us, you're not, you're just trying to ingratiate yourself with the Democrats." We have men and women in the Congress. I was up there recently in Washington, and I talked to some of them who are in agony about what to do about